have a positive ID yet, but I think we may be looking at Mr. Floyd Collister, also known as Marcel, the grande dame of the Las Vegas female impersonators.
You a fan?
Mrs. Doubtfire is more my taste.
The smell of booze is pretty strong.
Well, I imagine Floyd's probably in his mid to late 70s, so if he tied one on last night, accidents will happen, along with maybe a stroke or a heart attack.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you might really be right about tying one on. See his wrists? Looks like ligature marks.
Someone wanted to make sure their drinking buddy didn't leave too soon.
Didn't leave until he was dead.
She, you mean, until she was dead. I'm just saying.
Hey, good to see you. I can always depend on the kindness and assistance of my fellow C.S.Is. I just got started. You're welcome to jump in on the scene with me, or you can talk to our one and only witness over there.
Bien, pues estamos en este quinto y último caso del C.S.I. Se llama original o copia, ¿vale? Y vamos a empezar como siempre. Vamos a hacer primero las preguntas para que nos cuenten todo lo posible sobre el asesinato. Y luego vamos a empezar a buscar pruebas, ¿vale?
You mean how she died? Well, at first blush, it's tough to say. It could be natural causes, but the special circs are those ligature marks on the wrists and ankles. We'll know more once we get her over to Doc Robbins. Doesn't look like it. There's cash in the register, and nothing really stands out as being out of place or missing. It's been around a pretty long time. I remember I almost had my bachelorette party here. Not that my bachelorette party was that long ago, but anyway. After you.
Bien, pues vamos a empezar.
Our victim has tentatively been identified as Floyd Collister, but apparently he's better known as Marcel. Brass says he's known to be one of the best female impersonators in Las Vegas. I believe the term he used was grande dame.
De aquí vamos a sacar poquito más. De aquí de la caja sí vamos a sacar algo. Aquí hay una huella que la vamos a sacar con esto.
No prints there.
Si es cierto dónde es.
No prints there. No prints there. No prints there.
Vale, ahí está la huella.
Someone's gotten into the whiskey. Nice work.
Vamos a mirar
There's no doubt about whose club this is.
el luminoso. Vamos a mirar la caja registradora y poco más, porque por aquí ya vamos a sacar pocas pruebas más.
Enough booze for any occasion.
Vamos a hablar con el testigo.
Hello, sir. We're with the Las Vegas Crime Lab. Can we get your name?
Sure. Name's Gary Beaumont. I've been pretty much a regular here for, gosh, 30 years, give or take, right? Everybody knows me. I even have my own chair over there. That's mine. Nobody else gets to sit there but my butt. I found her, yes. I showed up about 9 o'clock for Bloody Mary Sundays. That's what Marcel calls it. And I'm walking in and passing right by the stage, and that's when I saw her, face down. I got up there. I tried to wake her up, but she wasn't breathing, and I couldn't save her. I don't have any kind of training. I used to know CPR, but, you know, I just called 911. That's all I thought I could really do.
Besides Mr. Collister, that is.
Mr. Collister? I'm sorry, don't you mean Marcel?
Yes, sorry. It's a bit confusing. Marcel.
I didn't mean to jump on you. It's just that Marcel was truly a lady. The most kind, gracious, generous, loving, feminine spirit I've ever known. As for Floyd Collister, a person's dead to me. Well, she did own a bar. I mean, I suppose you don't have to drink to own a bar, but Marcel did. Drink and own a bar. Both. She also smoked like a chimney. Well, if a chimney smoked a pack and a half of Nat Sherman's a day anyway. Miss Apprehension scolded her about it all the time.
I'm sorry. I wasn't quite clear whether Marcel was having some misapprehension about her health or there's actually a person named Misapprehension?
Oh no, she's not a person. She's a diva. The divine Miss A. She's been performing at the club for as long as I've been here. You probably never heard of her, because Marcel only let one star shine here. Hers.
Do you know Misapprehension's real name?
You probably want me to say her real name is Wallace Biganowski, but she'll always be Miss A to me.
Would you say they got along?
Oh, no. Oil and water. Cats and dogs. Betty Davis and Joan Crawford. I mean, those two fought constantly. But they needed each other. Marcel was the star around here, but she was just awful with money. Miss A kept this place in business.
Did things ever get violent between the two of them?
No, never. They yelled a lot, but I think they really loved each other. Oh no, poor Miss A. She'll be devastated when she finds out. I should probably try to find her in case she needs a shoulder to cry on. Let me think. No, that's really all that stands out to me. If I remember something, can I call you? Do you have a card? You don't think they'll close the club down, do you?
Bien, pues una vez que hemos hablado con él, vamos a mirar, a echarle un vistazo al cuerpo. Vemos que aquí hay una mancha, vamos a recoger una muestra.
You can smell the alcohol, right? PAC might have contributed to the death.
Vamos a mirar más aquí a la derecha, vemos una botella, la vamos a recoger.
Oh yes, the good stuff. Let's just make sure it gets back to the lab. In the bottle.
Vamos a ir al camerino. Vamos a mirar aquí en la estantería.
But no.
Vamos a recoger el pastillero.
Looks like Marcel forgot to take her pills.
Y vamos a ir a la derecha y en el escritorio vamos a recoger esta carpeta.
Looks like this Wallace Biganowski is angling for partial ownership in this club. Judging by this note, the negotiations aren't going well.
Bien. Pues nos vamos a ir al laboratorio, vamos a ir analizando las pruebas que ya tenemos.
I'll have Doc Robbins send someone down and pick up the body.
Vamos a ir a la zona de químicos. Y vamos a empezar a analizar todo lo que tenemos, ¿vale? Este no cuadra, este tampoco, este sí. Este también. Y este.
Water, grain alcohol, and traces of wood esters, tannins, and lactones. Whiskey, and not the cheap stuff.
Comprobamos que los whisky coinciden.
The alcohol in the victim matches the alcohol in the bottle, which means it was a classic cork party.
Y vamos a mirar las pastillas. Este coincide. Y este.
Pills were recovered at the scene were prescribed to Floyd Collister. They're hydramazine. It's a heart medication. So, if we run an extended tox panel and find him in Marcel's system, that'd be positive ID.
Vamos a echarle un vistazo a las pruebas por si nos queda algo por analizar, solamente la huella, que lo haremos más adelante. Así que vamos a ir a ver al forense.
Whoa, so that's what Marcel looks like in the morning before she puts on her face.
She's been a fixture in this town for as long as I can remember, but I don't think anyone's seen her like this, at at least not in public.
We pulled her, well, Floyd Collister's DMV records. He was born in 1938, which means Marcel is 71 years old, but she looks much younger, don't you think?
Well, what time taketh away, cosmetic surgery giveth back. To some degree, anyway. I'll check her medical records for the precise number of procedures.
Okay. You know, I hate to be a stickler for detail about this, but we haven't really positively identified this victim. We didn't recover any form of identification on the body or at the scene. So before we go any further, let's just make sure this is Marcel or Floyd Collister or whoever or whatever. All right?
Bien, vamos a preguntarle al forense a ver qué nos puede contar.
I love the easy ones. Here you go.
Por lo pronto nos da las huellas dactilares.
You know, they say celebrity deaths come in threes. I'm certainly not anxious to see another. Here, I found some skin under the victim's fingernails. I collected a sample for DNA. I guess Marcel may have gotten a piece of her killer.
Bien, nos da dos pruebas de ADN, una que han recogido de debajo de las uñas y otra la de la víctima.
What can you tell us about those contusions around his wrists and ankles?
Well, they're definitely consistent with ligature marks. The development of the bruising suggests the victim was restrained ante-mortem. I also noticed a larger contusion on the back of her head, also ante-mortem. She might have been struck from behind. She died of respiratory depression due to alcohol poisoning. It's as though she were tied down and then the alcohol strangled her. Terrible.
But it's possible that all this could have been just a horrible accident, right?
Actually, I don't think it's possible. Respiratory or heart failure usually occurs when one's blood alcohol level is somewhere around 0.4%. Now, most people in relatively good health tend to pass out around 0.3. Marcel's BAC was 0.5%. I don't believe there's any way someone at her age, even as healthy as she seemed to be, could have consumed that much alcohol on her own.
Force-fed alcohol. It's like some fraternity prank gone bad.
Yeah, but it actually reminds me of a serial killer case my boss, when I first started here, used to talk about a lot. What did they call the guy? The Barber Street Boozer.
The Barber Street Boozer. Yeah, wasn't it in the mid-70s? I think 1975. I was a little girl, but I kind of remember people talking about him.
Well, I'm sure it seemed particularly deviant at the time. What was it? 4 Johns trolling for transvestite prostitutes. They wind up dead, all of them force-fed alcohol.
You know, if I'm not mistaken, all 4 of those murders occurred in the same neighborhood as Marcel's Cabaret, and the Barber Street Boozer
Never got caught. You could have a cold case on your hands.
I'll put in the request for the cold case files on the Barber Street Boozer. It'll be worth it just to see if there are any other similarities between this case and those unsolved. We're looking for any sign of the drug, hydramazine.
Hydramazine is a heart medication that works to expand the blood vessels. I don't see any evidence that this victim was using it, though.
So that's not Floyd Collister. Just what we need. An impersonator of an impersonator. Oh, good. You're still here.
I just don't feel like being anywhere else right now. This place always felt like home. Now that Marcel's dead, I just don't know.
We're hoping you can help us with a case of mistaken identity.
Oh, what do you mean?
Do you mind coming down to the coroner's office with us?
Sure, I can do that. But you mean it might not be Marcel? I don't understand. But sure, no problem. Whatever you need, I'll come with you right now. That's not... Oh, no. That's not Marcel.
It's not. Do you know who it is, Mr. Beaumont?
But I saw her. I saw her with my own eyes, I'm telling you. But this... Oh, dear God, that's Wally. I can't believe it. That's Wally Beganowski. I mean, misapprehension. What the hell's going on?
Mr. Beaumont, we're so very sorry. And we deeply appreciate your help. I can give you the name of someone if you need someone to talk to right now. And I promise we'll be in touch. Okay? Thank you. Well, looks as though Marcel just went from being our victim to to being our prime suspect. I'll have Brass track down her home address and put a bolo out on her car. Or rather, his car, since it's still registered under Floyd Callister. While he's covering that, why don't we check out Mr. Viganowski's home? See what we can find there.
Pues nada, vamos a ir al apartamento de Viganowski.
Love what you've done with the place. Well, certainly defies stereotypes.
Yeah, I can see why you called me for backup. Tough neighborhood.
Vamos a abrir la puerta y nos vamos a encontrar
I'm Floyd Callister. Don't shoot, please.
Mr. Callister, we're here investigating the murder of Wallace Viganowski. Can you tell us where you were last night?
I can't talk right now. I forgot them back there. I'm supposed to take them every day.
Riley, could you take Mr. Callister to get his medication? We'll stay and process the scene.
I'm on it.
Riley will call us when she gets back to the station. In the meantime, let's see if Wally or Floyd left behind anything useful.
Bien, pues vamos a empezar a investigar, vamos a buscar pruebas por aquí. De hecho, por aquí hay poco.
My grandmother collected these.
Pero aquí, en el almacén, en el cenicero, sí vamos a encontrar una colilla donde vamos a poder sacar ADN.
That's the cigarette Callister was smoking. Could come in handy if we need his DNA.
Así que entramos en pruebas y vamos a extraer el ADN del cigarrillo, ¿vale?
That's Floyd Callister's DNA.
Vamos a hacer un vistazo, está todo menos los ADN y la huella, ¿vale? Y de aquí creo que poco más tenemos por ver los cuadros estos.
I wonder if it's homemade.
Y echarle un vistazo al portátil, pero tiene contraseña, así que no vamos a poder
Password
usarlo.
protected. You shouldn't use it without a reason anyway.
Así que vamos a volver al laboratorio y vamos a analizar las pruebas que hemos ido consiguiendo hasta ahora.